My son felt ashamed that I was a maid at his wedding, until I decided to sell the house I once gave him as a wedding gift. I'm Gina, and for 30 years, my hands have known the weight of a mop, the grit of a scrub brush, the endless rhythm of wiping down surfaces that never stay clean for long. I'm a janitor, a title that doesn't glitter but has anchored my life with purpose. My days begin before dawn in a small apartment, the kind with peeling wallpaper and a stubborn faucet that drips like a metronome. I rise, brew coffee strong enough to jolt my bones, and head out to clean offices, schools, sometimes a hospital wing, wherever the agency sends me. The work is honest, but it's the ache in my knees and the calluses on my palms that tell the real story. Every dollar I earn, I've fought for, not for myself, but for Jeff, my son. He's the reason I keep going, the heartbeat behind every scrubbed floor. I adopted him when he was barely 3, a wiry boy with eyes too big for his face, clinging to my sleeve in an orphanage that smelled of bleach and despair. That moment, his tiny fingers curling into mine, redefined me. I wasn't just Gina anymore, I was his mother. Jeff is 30 now, with a sharp jawline and a smile that could charm a stone. He's getting married soon, to Mandy, a girl with a laugh like wind chimes and a habit of fidgeting with her bracelets when she's nervous. I've spent years squirreling away every spare cent for him, dreaming of the day he'd have a home of his own. Last month, I did it. I bought him a house. It's not a mansion, just a modest 2-story with a sagging porch and windows that catch the morning light. I stood in its empty living room, imagining Jeff and Mandy building their life there, and my chest swelled with a pride I couldn't name. The savings I'd scraped together, tucked into a worn bank card, were meant to be their wedding gift, a final offering from a mother who'd given everything. I pictured handing it to Jeff, his eyes lighting up, maybe a hug that lingered longer than usual. "Mom, you didn't have to," he'd say, voice thick with gratitude. That's the scene I played in my head, anyway, as I dusted off my work apron and headed to another shift. Adopting Jeff wasn't a decision I made lightly. I was young then, barely 25, fresh off a failed attempt at a small cleaning business that left me drowning in debt. The orphanage visit was supposed to be a one-off, dropping off donated supplies for a coworker. But there was Jeff, sitting alone on a cot, his sneakers dangling above the floor. He didn't cry or beg like the other kids, he just watched me, quiet, with a gaze that seemed to ask, "Will you stay?" I didn't have much, a rented room, a beat-up car, and a heart still bruised from a recent divorce. But when he grabbed my sleeve, refusing to let go, I felt something shift inside me. I signed the papers that week, promising to give him a life better than the one he'd known. I worked double shifts, cleaned houses on weekends, anything to keep him fed, clothed, and in school. I remember nights when I'd come home, feet throbbing, to find him asleep with a book on his chest. Those moments made every sacrifice worth it. The house was my crowning achievement, a testament to years of saying no to new shoes or a night out so Jeff could have more. I'd walk past it sometimes, picturing him and Mandy laughing in the kitchen, maybe a kid or two running through the yard. It was my gift to them, but also to myself, a way to say, "Look, Gina, you did it. You gave him everything." I'd planned to surprise Jeff at the wedding, to slip the bank card into his hand during a quiet moment. But life, as it often does, had other plans. A week ago, I noticed a small cut on my leg, probably from a stray nail in the supply closet. I thought nothing of it, bandaged it, and kept working. But the cut festered, swelling red and hot, until I couldn't stand without wincing. By the time I dragged myself to the hospital, the infection had taken hold. The doctor, a tired man with wire-rimmed glasses, frowned at my chart. "Gina, this is serious," he said, his voice clipped. "You're staying here. Now, I'm in a hospital bed, the kind with sheets that crinkle like paper and a faint smell of antiseptic clinging to everything. The room is small, with a single window that frames a gray sky. Machines beep softly, and nurses glide in and out, their sneakers squeaking on the linoleum. My leg, wrapped in gauze, throbs under the weight of the infection. The wedding is in a few weeks, and I won't be there to see Jeff in his suit, to hear Mandy's vows, to feel the warmth of a mother's pride. I stare at the ceiling, its tiles speckled with faint stains, and feel a hollow ache in my chest. I wanted to be there, to stand tall for him one last time. Instead, I'm here, tethered to IVs, my dreams of that perfect moment slipping away. I clutched the bank card in my pocket, its edges worn from years of hope. Jeff will understand, won't he? He's my boy, the one I raised, the one who knows how much I've given. I close my eyes, willing myself to believe it, but a quiet unease stirs in my gut, like a storm gathering on the horizon. The hospital room feels like a cage, its pale walls closing in as the floor drips a steady rhythm into my vein. I'm Gina, and this bed, with its starched sheets and faint medicinal tang, has become my world. My leg, swathed in bandages, pulses with a dull ache, but it's the weight in my chest that hurts more, a gnawing unease I can't shake. I've always trusted Jeff, my son, the boy I raised through sweat and sacrifice. But today, as the afternoon light slants through the window, casting jagged shadows on the floor, that trust begins to fray. I lie still, staring at the ceiling, when voices slip through the half-open door, sharp and unguarded. It's Jeff and the doctor, their words slicing through the haze of my painkillers like a blade. Your mother's condition is fragile, the doctor says, his tone heavy with warning. If the infection worsens, we may need to consider amputation. My breath catches, a cold fist tightening around my heart. Amputation? The word is a monster, lurking in the corners of my mind. But before I can process it, Jeff's voice cuts in, low and dismissive. You're just worried about my real mother being at the wedding. Let her amputate if it comes to that. I won't abandon her, but if she recovers too fast, she'll stir up drama when she finds out my birth mother's there instead. Each syllable lands like a stone, crushing the fragile hope I'd clung to. Jeff, my Jeff, doesn't care about my leg, my pain, only about his biological mother, Carrie, taking my place at his wedding. I press my hand to my mouth, stifling a gasp, as the room spins. He's ashamed of me, the janitor, beside Mandy's polished parents. The realization is a slow poison, seeping into my bones. I lie there, eyes burning, as their conversation continues. Jeff's voice hardens. No point wasting money on surgery. She won't die from it. Treat it simply, she's too proud to admit she's weak. If she wasn't stuck here, she'd have crawled to my wedding. The doctor pushes back, his tone sharp with disbelief. Jeff, we've been friends for years. She's your mother, getting older. Why risk her health just to have your birth mother there? Gina's vibrant, she'd never cope in a wheelchair. Jeff doesn't waver. Carrie gave me life. No one can deny a mother her place at her son's wedding. Gina's my only son, sure, but for this, only Carrie belongs. His words are a hammer, each one driving a wedge deeper into my heart. I've scrubbed floors for him, gone hungry so he could eat, but to him, I'm a shadow next to Carrie's supposed elegance. My fingers clutch the bank card in my pocket, its edges biting into my palm. I was going to give him everything, my life savings. Now, that act feels like betrayal to myself. The doctor leaves, his sigh heavy in the air, and Jeff lingers by my bed, unaware I'm awake. He thinks I'm asleep, lost in fever or drugs, but my mind is razor sharp, cataloging every wound his words have carved. He leaves his phone on the bedside table, its screen glowing faintly in the dim room. I know his password, his birthday, a number I've etched into my soul. My hands tremble as I unlock it, driven by a need to understand how far this betrayal goes. Messages with Carrie flood the screen, each one a dagger. There's a photo of them at dinner, her in sleek designer clothes, him beaming beside her. Mom, you're so beautiful, he writes, thank you for giving me such excellent genes. My throat tightens. I've aged under the relentless sun, my skin weathered from years of toil, while Carrie, who left him at birth, is his pride. Their chats are frequent, filled with his eager chatter and her curt replies. He video calls her, pours out his heart, while with me, it's always been me asking, him deflecting, rarely a word beyond requests for money. I thought he was shy, reserved. Now I see it, he's ashamed of me, the woman who raised him. Another conversation catches my eye, this one with Mandy, his fiancée. Jeff's voice, overheard later that night, is casual, cruel. Don't worry, Mandy. My mom loves me so much, all her money's mine. Once I get it, I'll buy you that car you want. I used the most infection-prone tools on her leg, no surgery. She won't make it to the wedding. My vision blurs with tears, not from pain but from the sheer audacity of his plan. He sabotaged my recovery, chose rusted tools to keep me bedridden, all to ensure I wouldn't ruin his perfect day. The boy I carried through life, who I soothed through nightmares, has orchestrated my suffering. I wipe my eyes, the tears hot against my skin, and feel something harden inside me, a resolve I didn't know I had. I won't let him break me. I slip the bank card back into my pocket, its weight a reminder of my worth. No more giving to him, no more bleeding for a son who sees me as a means to an end. I grab my phone, fingers steady despite the storm in my chest, and text Heidi, my best friend since we were girls sharing dreams over cheap coffee. Find me the best orthopedic doctor, I write. I'm done saving for Jeff. If he wants Carrie's dignity, let her fund his life. I've spent decades investing in his future, but now, I choose myself. My leg throbs, a reminder of the fight ahead, but it's the fire in my gut that fuels me. Jeff thinks he knows me, selfless, forgiving, a mother who'll endure anything. He's forgotten I'm more than that. Before I was his mother, I was Gina, a woman who survived loss, failure, and a world that tried to grind me down. I close my eyes, the hospital's hum fading, and vow to reclaim that woman, no matter what it takes. The hospital's sterile grip releases me, but not without scars. I'm Gina, and though my leg still protests with every step, I'm out of that bed, propped up in a wheelchair, its creaky wheels a grating reminder of my fragility. The wedding rehearsal is today, and despite Jeff's insistence that I stay away, I'm going. I need to see the truth with my own eyes, to witness the son I raised choose his biological mother, Carrie, over me. My apartment, with its chipped mugs and threadbare couch, feels like a museum of my sacrifices as I dress, simple slacks, a blouse ironed crisp to hide my weariness. Heidi, my rock, pushes me toward the venue, her eyes flashing with protective fury. You sure about this, Gina? She asks, voice low. I nod, my jaw tight. I have to know. Inside, my heart is a tangled knot of love and dread, but I won't let fear steer me. Not today. The venue is a grand hall, all polished wood and chandeliers that scatter light like diamonds. Roses in soft pinks and creams spill from vases, their scent mingling with the tang of anticipation. Guests mill about, their laughter a distant hum, while I linger at the edge, an outsider in my son's world. Jeff stands near the altar, his suit sharp, his smile practiced. Beside him is Carrie, sleek in a tailored dress, her hair gleaming under the lights. She's the picture of poise, the mother he's chosen to parade. My chest tightens as I watch Mandy, his fiancée, approach her with a camel wool scarf, her smile bright but calculated. Carrie, Jeff's told me so much about you, she says, voice syrupy. He said you're a beauty, and he wasn't lying. Carrie accepts the gift with a nod, her expression cool. I remember Mandy's somber glances when we met, Jeff's excuses about her feeling unwell. Now I see it, her warmth is reserved for those she deems worthy, and I, the janitor, never made the cut. I grip the wheelchair's arms, my knuckles whitening. I've funded this day, the flowers, the catering, the very floor they stand on, yet I'm invisible. The priest, a kindly man with silver hair, spots me and starts to wheel me forward, assuming I'm the groom's mother. Gina, let's get you in place, he says, his voice warm. But Jeff's face pales, and he intercepts, quick as a fox. No, father, Carrie's my mother, he says, his tone firm but laced with unease. The priest hesitates, his eyes flicking to me, recalling our meetings over the contracts. I force a smile, swallowing the sting. Jeff brought me here to play a part, to nod and fade, but Carrie's presence has erased me entirely. My fingers trace the bank card in my pocket, a relic of my devotion. I was ready to give him everything, but now, I'm not so sure. Dinner follows, a lavish spread of roasted meats and glittering wine glasses. I'm seated in a corner, the clink of cutlery and chatter a wall between me and the celebration. Jeff and Mandy sit with Carrie, their heads bent close. I catch snippets of their talk, each word a barb. "Jean'll pay for it secretly," Jeff murmurs, his voice smug. "She's disabled now, she'll only drag me down later." Mandy nods, her eyes gleaming. "If we charm Carrie, maybe she'll buy us a bigger house. That apartment you got us is so small." My breath hitches. The apartment, my life savings poured into a home for them, is a stepping stone to their greed. I've already scouted a larger house, papers ready to sign, but their words snuff out that dream. My love, my labor, reduced to a transaction. I try to leave, needing air, but the door sticks, heavy and unyielding. My arms strain as I push, the wheelchair wobbling. Jeff watches, unmoved, his fork poised mid-bite. Mandy doesn't glance up. Then Carrie rises, her heels clicking, and offers, "Let me help." Her voice is smooth, but her eyes are cold. I nod, wary, and she wheels me toward the restroom. Alone in the hallway, her mask drops. She shoves the chair hard, my feet slamming into the wall. Pain lances through my leg, sharp and blinding. Sweat beads on my forehead as I grip the armrests, refusing to cry out. "I told you not to let him find me," she hisses, her face inches from mine. "I have no money for him. Don't blackmail me, I'll play the respectable mom for show, but that's it." Her words drip venom, revealing a woman who sees Jeff as a burden, just as she did years ago when I first tracked her down. She's taken his gifts, his adoration, but gives nothing real in return. Jeff and Mandy rush over, drawn by the commotion. "What happened?" Jeff demands, his eyes darting between us. Carrie's demeanor shifts, her voice trembling. "Gina pushed me, Jeff. I only offered to help." It's a lie, blatant and shameless, but Jeff buys it. He helps Carrie up, his touch gentle, then turns to me, his face a mask of disgust. "Mom, I respected you, thought you were just a woman forced to be a cleaner. But this? Your embarrassing tradesmen and craftsmen, including carpenters, bricklayers, etc., are not looked down upon by anybody. I never thought you'd stoop so low." His words cut deeper than Carrie's shove, each one a betrayal of the years I spent raising him. Mandy chimes in, her tone sharp. "Just give us the money, Gina, and go." I stare at them, my heart a shattered mosaic. I've raised an ungrateful son, and his fiancée is his mirror, reflecting his greed. Heidi's message buzzes on my phone, a lifeline in the chaos. "Top doctors arranged. You ready to leave this behind?" I glance at the trio, Jeff, Mandy, Carrie, laughing now, as if I'm already gone. My fingers hover over the reply. "Our bond's done," I type. "Get me to the hospital after this." I look at Jeff, his eyes avoiding mine, and feel a strange calm settle over me. I've carried him for 30 years, let his needs eclipse my own. But no more. As they return to their charade, I will myself out, the door finally yielding. The night air is cool, the stars sharp above. I'm not the mother who begs for scraps of love. I'm Gina, and I'm ready to fight for myself. The hospital is a memory now, its antiseptic haze replaced by the vibrant pulse of a new day. I'm Gina, no longer tethered to a wheelchair, my leg healed by the skilled hands of a surgeon Heidi found. Today is Jeff's wedding, and I stand at the threshold of the venue, dressed in a bold crimson dress that hugs my frame, its fabric catching the light like a defiant flame. In my hand, a suitcase, small, unassuming, but heavy with intent. Jeff thinks it holds the money he's been hounding me for, the savings I once meant to gift him. He's wrong. I've sold the house I bought for him, the deed in my name, the funds now mine to reclaim. As I step into the hall, the air hums with music and chatter, but my heart beats with a singular purpose, to unveil the truth and walk away free. The venue is a spectacle, its high ceilings draped with twinkling lights, tables laden with crystal and roses I paid for. Guests swirl in elegant dresses, their laughter a glittering veneer over the undercurrents of judgment. I take a seat in the farthest corner, unnoticed, my presence a secret kept by my recovery. Jeff stands at the altar, his suit pristine, his smile a mask of triumph. Beside him, Carrie exudes grace, her designer gown a stark contrast to my years of threadbare aprons. Mandy, radiant in white, clings to Jeff's arm, her eyes darting to Carrie with a mix of awe and ambition. I watch them, my chest tight with a cocktail of sorrow and resolve. I raised Jeff, poured my soul into his future, yet here he is, erasing me for a woman who never wanted him. My fingers graze the suitcase's handle, its contents a silent rebellion against their greed. The ceremony unfolds, vows exchanged under a canopy of flowers. I stay silent, my gaze fixed on Jeff's every move. During the speeches, guests shower blessings, their voices warm with sentiment. Then, as dinner begins, I hear Jeff's hushed call to Mandy, his phone pressed to his ear. "Mom said she'll give me the money today," he whispers, voice smug. "She's disabled, she won't dare refuse." "Don't worry." My lips curve into a bitter smile. He still thinks I'm the broken woman he left in the hospital, pliable and desperate for his love. I rise, clutching a horn I bought, a brash, unyielding thing, and press it to my lips. Its blare cuts through the din, silencing the room. Heads turn, eyes wide, as I step into the light. "Jeff," I call, my voice steady, "are you calling me?" Jeff's face drains of color, his shock a tangible thing. He hurries toward me, his steps frantic. "Mom, what are you doing here?" he hisses, voice low. "I told you to rest." I tilt my head, the horn still in hand. "You told me to bring the money, didn't you? How could I give it to you if I don't come?" My words carry, amplified by the horn, reaching every corner of the stunned hall. Murmurs ripple through the crowd, disdainful glances, whispers of the adoptive mother who dares disrupt. I stand taller, undeterred. "Jeff didn't want me here," I say, my voice clear. "Said a janitor doesn't belong. But I paid for this day, every flower, every plate." The guests shift, unease creeping into their faces. Jeff's eyes dart, searching for control, but I'm not finished. I gesture to the screen behind the altar, where a video begins to play. It's from 12 years ago, Carrie's face sharp and cold. "He's your child, not mine," she sneers on the footage, her voice dripping with disgust. "Don't let that burden find me. I have no money for him." The room gasps, Jeff staggering back, his illusion of Carrie's love crumbling. His eyes meet mine, wide with disbelief, but before he can speak, chaos erupts. A man storms in, broad-shouldered, flanked by bodyguards. His suit screams wealth, his face twisted with rage. "Carrie," he roars, yanking her from her seat. A slap cracks across her face, echoing. "I gave you everything, money, a villa, and you had his kid behind my back?" I tested Jeff's paternity. "You're done." Jeff lunges, desperate to protect her, but a bodyguard's kick sends him sprawling. Carrie's screams fade as she's dragged out, leaving silence in her wake. The guests are a tableau of shock, their whispers now a roar. "She's a mistress," one says. "Jeff's her secret child," another mutters. I turn to the suitcase, flipping it open. Fake bills flutter into the air, a mocking cascade of paper. "You wanted money?" I say, my voice cutting through the chaos. "Here it is." Mandy shrieks, lunging for the case, her face contorted. "Everything's fake, Gina. You're ruining us." She storms out, her veil trailing like a ghost. Jeff's face burns, alternating pale and flushed, as relatives point and gossip. I step closer, my gaze unflinching. "I sold the house," I say. "It was mine. You called it too small, pestered me for more. Buy your own now. Good luck." Mandy's parents glare, their disdain unchanged, but I feel no shame. "You're right," I say, grabbing the horn again. "I came to cause trouble. I paid for this wedding, and you called me a shrew behind my back. Let me show you one. I climb onto a chair, my voice rising as I lay bare their deceit, Jeff's sabotage of my health, Mandy's greed, Carrie's hypocrisy. Each word is a release, a shedding of the mother who endured in silence. The crowd's judgment shifts, eyes softening toward me, hardening toward Jeff. He chases after Mandy, his face a mask of desperation, unaware I have one final surprise waiting. As I leave, the night air is sharp, cleansing. I've reclaimed my dignity, not as a janitor or a mother, but as Gina, a woman who fought and won. Heidi waits outside, her car idling. You did it, she says, her smile fierce. I nod, the suitcase light in my hand, its fake's a symbol of my freedom. Jeff's world is unraveling, but mine is just beginning. I've carried him too long, let his needs define me. No more. The stars above are bright, and for the first time in years, I feel unburdened, ready to step into a life that's mine alone. The wedding's chaos is a fading echo, replaced by the hum of a life reclaimed. I'm Gina, no longer the janitor defined by sacrifice, but a woman carving her own path. The crimson dress from that day hangs in my closet, a relic of defiance, while I stand in a sunlit garden, my hands dusted with soil from planting tulips. My apartment, once a shrine to Jeff's needs, now bursts with color, canvases of half-finished paintings, a windowsill crowded with herbs. I've sold the house I bought for him, the money redirected to a cause greater than his greed. The Adversity Mother Support Fund, my creation, pours hope into abandoned children and single mothers, mending lives where mine once frayed. As I water a budding sunflower, its petals reaching for the sky, I feel a quiet triumph. Jeff's betrayal cut deep, but it didn't break me, it set me free. Jeff's world, I hear, has crumbled. Mandy filed for divorce weeks after the wedding, her voice sharp in a message he played on repeat. You think you can still squeeze money from your mom? Don't count on her. He begged, pleaded, but she was gone, tired of a man unmoored by his own lies. Carrie, too, fell hard, her wealthy patron cast her out, her secrets laid bare. She sells jewelry now, scraping by, her elegance a tattered facade. Jeff, once so sure of his climb, feels the weight of his cruelty, a reckoning I no longer witness. I'm abroad when his first call comes, Heidi and I sipping coffee in a Parisian cafe, the Seine glinting nearby. Gina, you sold my house, he rants, voice cracking. You're selfish. I hang up, the phone's silence louder than his words. My prime years stretch before me, unburdened by his demands. I sip my coffee, the bitterness sweet against my tongue, and smile at Heidi. Let's see the Louvre, I say, my heart light. Back home, Jeff finds a yellowed bankbook in our old apartment, its pages a ledger of my love, tuition, travel, every penny I scraped for him. He texts, voice notes trembling with regret, Mom, I was wrong. You're my real mom. Please, I need you. I scroll past, my finger steady. The boy I raised is a stranger, his apologies too late to bridge the chasm he carved. I delete his messages, each tap a step toward closure. My savings, once his inheritance, now fund my purpose. At a funding event for the Adversity Mother Support Fund, I stand on a stage, simple linen dress swaying in the breeze. The audience, children in neat clothes, single mothers with wary hope, watches me. A girl, no older than 7, tugs my sleeve, her eyes wide, like Jeff's once were. My heart stutters, but I crouch to her level. This time, we'll find you a family you love, I say, my voice soft but firm. Her hand grips mine, and I feel a warmth I thought I'd lost. This is my calling, not to carry one child, but to lift many. My days bloom with rediscovered passions. I paint again, my brush dancing across canvases in a studio cluttered with easels and turpentine. Sunflowers dominate my work, their golden heads a mirror of my resilience. I garden, coaxing life from stubborn soil, each sprout a victory over the years I let myself wither. Volunteering at a nursing home becomes my sanctuary, where I sit with elders my age, their stories weaving a tapestry of shared survival. One spring afternoon, I lead a painting session, the room alive with the scent of acrylics and laughter. An old teacher, Clara, dips her brush in cobalt, her hands trembling but sure. "You've got a fire in you, Gina," she says, her eyes crinkling. "Not everyone finds it after so much loss." I pause, my sunflower half-painted, and nod. "I was lost for a long time," I admit, my voice low. "But I'm home now." The canvas before me glows, its colors bold, a testament to a woman who lives for herself. 10 winters later, I'm in an orphanage activity room, surrounded by children whose giggles bounce off the walls. The space is warm, with murals of stars and bookshelves stuffed with stories. We're discussing family, maternal love, as prospective parents listen, their faces a mix of hope and fear. A boy asks, "What's a mother?" I kneel, my silver hair catching the sunlight streaming through the window. "A mother holds your umbrella in the rain," I say, my voice a gentle current, but she doesn't let her wings get wet drying someone else's feathers. The words land softly, their truth resonating in my bones. I glance at the children, their faces bright with possibility, and feel a peace I never knew with Jeff. My gaze is calm, resolute, the pain of his betrayal a distant wind, blown away by the life I've built. Jeff, I learn, is a shadow of himself. Jobless, alone, he rummages through memories, clinging to a past he squandered. A final call from Carrie, her voice brittle, reveals her hypocrisy, shattering his last illusions. He tries to leave, to escape the weight of his choices, but reality pins him down. I don't see his collapse, don't need to. My life is here, in the laughter of children, the stroke of a brush, the quiet moments with Clara over tea. As I leave the orphanage, a girl runs up, her braids swinging. "Gina, will you come back?" she asks, her voice small but fierce. I smile, touching her cheek. "Always," I say, and mean it. The sun warms my face, my steps sure. I'm no longer the woman who gave everything for others. I'm Gina, whole, living for the colors I paint, the lives I touch, and the heart that finally beats for me.